Hi, I'm Peices, and this is Hearts of Iron 4, where we're playing the German Reich with expert AI. First off, I want to apologize for this episode being a little bit late. I replaced some components in my computer, so hopefully it'll run a little bit smoother in the end game. And there was a lot of ruckus going on in my neighborhood, so I couldn't get any peace to record. And then when I did have time to record Paradox, decided to release a summer beta patch. And after reading the changelog, I decided that we want to incorporate this one because the war's going to start soon. And these changes affect the balance of the naval combat, air combat, and land combat. So yeah, we needed to fix that, obviously. So that was one of my mods there that affects the air modules that I needed to update and kind of integrate, so it is a lot more vanilla. And what Paradox did was, well, if we pop into the air screen here, we can see that just hover over these, the ranges have been dropped dramatically. So we've got the coast, Heinkel 59s here. You've got a very abysmal range. And if we look here at the fighters, that's even worse. Right, so if we just have a quick look at what they've done to the airframes, we can see here that the things like interwar or basic small airframe has a range of 450. The interwar small airframe has a range of 300. Of course, we need to fix this one because they also decided that you can have a dual barrel turret on a small airframe. Which was probably a good change with the other things they've made. We're going to have to go through and update a few of these aircraft models right before we start off. But that also means that most of the modules are back to their vanilla stats. Well, most of the components. They also reworked so that excess weight, no, we can't even see the weight in here. Excess weight from, go in here. Any kind of excess thrust to weight ratio will feed into agility. So having one, this was a bad example. If you've got this one which has just these two machine guns and an engine, it actually has a decent amount of agility. As if it had, let's say that we loaded it up with guns, it'll have a lot less agility, which of course will incur a penalty on it. So the weapon stats are vanilla. I've still got some changes to modules around here to make them more fun to use. Otherwise you're only going to see us using armor plates, which isn't very fun. So all of these actually have a use for us in this game, and that mod is linked down below. And the same thing with these, of course. So as we go through those, that'll make sense. I also made a few changes to tanks, I think. I think they boosted the armor values on some of the chassis. This is actually a very good tank for what it is now, 14-15 production. Panzers, I can start off here with the Panzer II, because they've made some changes somewhere here that's dropped the speed down from 8 to 6.5 or 7.6. Might have been when we added the drums, but that's only 0.2, so I don't think that's going to be it. But it could be. And we're going to keep those fuel drums on there anyway, and we'll just bump the engine up a level. It costs a little bit more, but that's fine. Obviously, we want to put these into production. If we can find our tanks. There we go. I think we need to do it this way though. I will be producing the D models instead. We do have a few in stockpile and we'll convert them in a bit. We are increasing production of the Panzer IIIs here as well. And we are very soon to be unlocking the Panzer IVs. And the new submarine hulls. So that's going to be nice. Alright, yeah, we want to check out these aircraft before we go on. So let's just go through them. I think no, we don't want to have the outdated one. I did change the name of the BF-109, so now we've got the PF-109D here. And let's just get rid of all these airframes for now. We can always find them if we need them. Okay, so which one do we want to upgrade first? Let's see if we can do anything with the Junkers 90 here. So because they've rebalanced the weight and thrust ratios, we have a little bit more thrust on most of our aircraft to work with. And don't think this would be anything to add. Or actually but if we go for strategic bombing, we won't have enough because they have the weight as a stat for doing the missions. But we're actually up to 35 in weight, and we've got a limit of 5. And the Junkers 90 had something like 13 heavy machine guns or something in its turrets. Now we've got the bomb sites there. Could go for radio navigation, but I don't think that's going to be very helpful here. Something that would be helpful though is the use of non-strategic materials. And that would be, I think that would be right on the mark. That'll drop production cost. And drop the aluminium cost as well. And that's one of the big changes I made, because I actually want this one to be useful. Otherwise you lose like half of the aircraft's air defense as well, which makes it completely useless. Well, unless you don't have any aluminium at all, because some aircraft are better than no aircraft, but I think that makes more sense. The opportunity cost for selecting one of these slots for it should be high enough. And it's got a production cost and weight, of course. Or a weight, not a production cost. So that brings us up to 40 there, and I think this would be enough. Of course it wants to rename it. Would be nice if we could upgrade these to bigger turrets, but those are going to weigh too much. So it would be either upgrading the turrets or the use of non-strategic materials. Let's rename this one to the Junkers 90B. And let's just turn off everything else here for now, to make it a little bit easier to actually fit them in here. 14 days. Yeah, we're producing almost none of these. I think it's worth it anyway. Otherwise we're gonna forget about it. And those are not the most important aircraft we have. We do also have these Dornier 17s, which were quite frequently used in the early parts of the war, but I think they actually were used until the end of the war. Let's see if we can find them down here. These have a invalid design, but they are currently with 2 small bomb bays. They've got a turret on, and they've got some crummy old engines on. We can't use this turret because it only allows for single barrel turrets now. Now let's downgrade its turret, and then we just check over one of these. You can see that it's got a 5 weight allowance here to put something in, and I think with these the range is abysmal, and they kind of were on this too. We could do the same thing there, just make it cheaper. And it wants to convert a fighter into it. Well, I guess that would be one thing to do. I think we're going to try to keep those fighters around and just make them a little bit cheaper. I suppose it's just one experience, right? That's not going to be using the ME-262. I don't know. Can't really select anything appropriate, so that's the one we go for. Let's see if we can name this to something as well. This can just be the Dornier 17B. And we need to update it so it's a valid design anyway, so we need to spend the experience on something, we might as well make it a little bit cheaper. Well, let's throw those in there. Now we are all the way down here, of course. This one can be converted with... That's a very weird cost for converting it. We've got a bunch that we can convert into this airframe later on. And we probably want to design new carrier fighters, so we can skip that for a little bit. The Heinkels though. Let's check these out. And the same thing here, we've got a very small weight allowance here of 2 if we want to max out the airframe. I think that's going to be just fine because we've got some electronic equipment we want to put on these. So we've got the bomb sights, increase strategic bombing. And this is one of the changes that I've made because the base module just gives, I think, 4 strategic bombing. And I think 10% is a lot more realistic, that it uses whatever bombs you have, just drop them on target instead, or closer to your target. Let's put the radio navigation on here too, and we'll put the good one on to make them more expensive, but these are our main bombers. This will be the Heinkel 111B. 2 experience, yeah, fair enough. Also something they've made is so that you gain agility from having turrets. This of course would be because you disrupt the attacking aircraft, so it gives you a little bit more freedom of movement. But still, so that's 3 agility while on a strategic bombing mission. Or on any mission it'll be on. I mean, it's not a big boost, is it? And we want to put these into production as well. And they end up at the top. We can convert these later on. We don't have the latest conversion tech. Don't think we can do anything with the Stukas. They are, well, we do have a 1 weight allowance here. The only thing we could do is, what we could do actually is upgrade the engine, I guess. If we upgrade the engine, we can upgrade and put more bombs on. It would be nice to unlock some of the new bomber modules before we do that though. And they don't have very good range, do they? No, we could do this to make them a little bit better. And the Stukas did have a lot of ground attack, of course. And they do have the 20% modifier from die bricks. This is also one of the modules that I've changed so that it makes naval targeting and ground attack better. In vanilla it would just give you some air defense instead, which doesn't really make sense. At least not in my opinion. This makes more sense. This will be the Junkers 87B. Same picture, of course. I'll pop those in there. We are trying to gear up towards war, of course. Then we reach the... We're just working from the bottom up, aren't we? We might want to check these out and we're going to make a Stuka and a BF-109 variant. But let's start off here with, kind of want to finish with, no, it's not going to end up at the top anyway, is it? And so this is pretty much what our BF-109Ds look like. And the next version would be the E. And most E's were fitted with 4 light machine guns, and they came with a motor cannon on the engine cannon. But it was often removed. We're going to leave it in though. They had very big issues with keeping this one cooled so it didn't jam. But I think it's a cool addition to the kind of overall image of the fighter. And they put these 2 extra guns in the wings. And they had two machine guns in the cowlings and 2 in the wings, and then the cannon firing through the prop hub. I don't have very much to put in there, and the range on these is abysmal, of course. And that's because they've got the self-sealing fuel tanks, which reduce the range, but increase air defense. And let's just check this a little bit quickly, because that's how I balance the armor plates versus the self-sealing fuel tanks. So the self-sealing fuel tanks take up some room inside the fuel tanks because they're rubber sealed. So it reduces fuel capacity, but it makes the fuel tanks, of course, less susceptible to damage. Armor plates would primarily protect the pilot, which of course is good, but they weight quite a lot. So they reduce agility by 10%. The fuel tanks reduce range by 10%. You can have both if you want to. So they're not exclusive. You can only have one of each. Drop tanks give you flat range, 200 kilometers, and it takes up a slot, of course, and it doesn't weigh or cost very much. Extra fuel tanks weigh quite a lot, but give you a massive increase to range. So this would be internal fuel tanks. And that weight, of course, will reduce your agility as well now. And they're also cheap. Floats give you loads of bonuses, but hamper your agility and max speed quite a lot. And then we got those that we've looked at before. Those are the ones we have right now, at least. There are a few more. So let's save the Emil here. And we're producing quite a lot of these. Now, by the time the war broke out, I think Germany had something like 800 Emils and 250 or something of the previous model. I think they call those the Doras too. But of course the famous Dora is the Focke-Wulf 190. Let's see if we can add anything to the BF 110 as well. This one is built on a medium airframe, so it has a little bit longer range. How much weight? We only have 2 weight here to kind of deal with. We want this to be a multi-role aircraft. And this one looks pretty much like we want to. But I think we might want to try and increase the range of these a bit. And of course here we can have drop tanks. And that's also why we have there's a cross there, because we've already got the armor plates. So we're not allowed to have a second one. And we don't want to have the self-sealing fuel tanks because that'll decrease the range. I actually think this will have to do until we can unlock better engines. Because that's going to be a weight of, if we were to select that one and we go on a close air support mission, we're overweight and we're not allowed to do that. So there's, well, maybe actually we could pop on some radio navigation. A bomb sight won't do us very much good here, but the radio navigation will decrease our night penalty. That would be a good addition to these. And did it automatically rename itself? Looks like it did. Okay, well, I'm not going to complain. So let's save you there. Let's put you into production. I'm sorry, there's a lot of designing new aircraft right now. Hopefully some of you enjoy this. And let's see what we want to do with the Junkers 88. This is also a medium airframe, and I would love to put dive brakes on this one because that's kind of what made them what they are. We're going to upgrade the radio navigation. Now this one has, if we go on, it's not allowed to do strategic bombing either. But it does have a little bit of strat bombing if it had some kind of tactical bomber bay. Could go on strategic bombing missions. And then the small ones would add some to it as well. I don't think it's worth adding any more weapons to this one. So I think we'll just upgrade that, and that's fine. And that, of course, is much wrong. This is the Junkers 88B. It should be right. Yeah. Well, let's save you there. Did it obsolete the old one? Yes, it looks like it. And let's just throw in the new ones there as well. Alright. And we do want to get some we're gonna replace these instead. So at the moment we've got, they've just got a torpedo, and the Paradox have quite wisely split the torpedo into light, medium and heavy torpedoes. So I like that change. We, however, do not want the new one to be an interwar one. So we want to use a... maybe we could use these actually. No, that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna need a medium airframe, or a basic small airframe. Down at the bottom. Basic small, yeah, there's so many of them now. Let's just get rid of those straight away. So this is gonna be a maritime patrol aircraft. It has got 2 engines, and it's of course is the Heinkel 115. Now this was quite a interesting design. Let's see if we can find just a seaplane. We don't have very many seaplanes to choose from, so this will just have to do. Might actually be the one too. This one's a single engine one. So the Heinkel 115 was a twin engine maritime patrol aircraft that of course had a lot longer range than this. So just by adding the second engines we gain a little bit more air defense and range as compared to a single engine. Just to make it a little bit more, a single engine adds agility instead, and a maximum speed. So having 2 engines is of course preferable when you are out flying overseas, because if one engine shuts down you can always get home on the second one. This of course was a float plane, so we're going to add those floats. That gives it another 300 range, and well, this is a recon aircraft or a patrol aircraft, and let's just bump on the extra fuel tanks. We've got the weight limitation there, so that's no problem for us. Ashley also had a machine gun of some sort. We probably want to have some sort of machine gun on these. Let's just put on two standard light machine guns, that's fine. These machine guns were located in flexible, I think it was a fixed mount to the front and a flexible mount down here at the rear. So it had I think it was a crew of 4 actually on this, and they could carry both torpedoes, bombs and mines on the mountains that they did have. But for the role we're having, we're gonna stick with the torpedoes there. This of course unlocks the air superiority in interception missions for them, but we're probably mostly going to be using them for naval strikes and naval patrol missions. That's just for continuity. Push that on. Don't think we've got any good 3D models there, so let's just use the BF-109. And that means we can obsolete out these Heinkel 59s. We don't need them anymore. We'll bump these in here. Just 1 factory on them will be fine. They of course won't reinforce this because we added those machine guns. They won't reinforce these Heinkel 59s. Heinkel 59s of course is the invalid design. That has the dual turrets. But oh well, that's something we have to live with, right? They don't have very long. It's the short range of these recon aircraft or medium aircrafts. They've got a tad longer range. You can see here this is the Stukas, and they don't have very long range. And this would be the vanilla range on them as well. So this is really nice. This means you actually have to gonna group your aircraft a lot closer to the front. You're not gonna get full coverage. And I think this should make the air war a lot more interesting. We'll see when we get that far. So here we've got our strategic bombers, and even them, they don't have the range, and these early strategic bombers, they just didn't have the range to reach anywhere. We're filling up all of our slots here. See if we've got anything we can deploy. We've got a few of these old interwar small airframes. I think we're gonna have these. We could actually punch these out, I guess, but no. Doesn't really make sense for us to keep them out. We convert them into some sort of close air support, I think. The Dornier 17s. Maybe we did have some. We can put out some more Doras here. I've got some ABs and Cs here as well. I should be able to use this equipment tag as well, but I've never used them for aircraft. I might have to start using them for aircraft though. Okay, so that was a very, very, very long one. Let's get started there. Okay, so we finished that focus the last episode, right? So the German Reich claims Memel. With the German forces on their border poised to attack, Lithuania has given in to a German ultimatum, demanding the surrender of the old Prussian territory of Memel. It was passed to Lithuania by the Treaty of Versailles, but has now been reintegrated into the region of Ostpreußen. Have we yet reached the extent of German territorial ambitions in Europe? Experts are doubtful. Germans everywhere must be united. Let's just have a quick pause there, because we don't really want to lose these days. So we want to tag on to... where are we going? Oh yes, Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, of course. We've got a hungry bear that we need to satisfy just a little bit. Yeah, that was just because we were in on everything. Of course, it's we still have a big surplus of rubber. We do need to start churning out a bit more of these. Probably need more of those, and these are kind of light bombers, and these are heavy bombers. You can see the production cost is quite different. Those are 54, and these are going to be 48. Okay, wasn't that big difference. It's gonna make more sense later on, I guess. Maybe. I think we'll deal with these later on. The carrier versions of the BF-109 and the Ju-87 didn't really make it very far, even though they started development in 37. We're gonna put those over to that later on. We're gonna want more of these, I think. Just to start ramping up that production efficiency. And naval patrol aircraft, we might want to have another one on too. Scout aircraft and these transport planes we don't really need more of. We are fine as it is. We're gonna need to... I think that's fine. We want to have more into medium tanks because we want to start splitting them out. Got loads of these. We're gonna add another one too. No, that's fine. I think those stockpiles are gonna be okay. We're not gonna be building any more, and then we're gonna start switching them out to mechanized. Let's put more on support equipment, I think. Artillery, I think we still got a few. Alright, I pressed the 5 there. Alright. Anti-tank, we're gonna need more anti-tank. It's time to start ramping that up. Anti-air, we've actually got quite a lot of anti-air. But I think we're gonna want to start putting that into more divisions as well. I think that's gonna be fine for now. Did we have, oh, we want to add some more. Is that another 24 infantry divisions somewhere? Sudetenland, that's perfect. It is Germany after all. I wanted to check these. How much do we need if we want to add some anti-air here? So that's going to cost us 1700 anti-air. That's fine. And these kind of these ones already have it, right? No, they're going to need it too, but we don't have very many of these templates, so I don't think that's makes a difference. Yeah, we got 3 templates of it. Garrisons are not going to use it. Already got it in our panzers and probably in the motorized. Yeah, we got motorized anti-air there. Alpine, well, that was disturbing. Sorry, the brigades need to be in 2 battalions each, with 3 brigades. Otherwise it doesn't make sense. I think that now we want to have artillery here, and I think that's gonna have to go in already. I don't want to put anything else in there. I could probably do with some armored recon companies as well, though. There's extra movement in mountains. Don't think any of the other ones are better movement in the mountain. No, we aren't actually producing anything there. No, the light armored recon, or the armored recon with the light tanks is gonna be the better option there. It's expensive, but it's what it is. We've got the paratroopers. Don't really like the idea of paratrooping tanks, even though both the Germans and the British and I believe America had paradroppable tanks. Or some kind of armored vehicles. So, no. Yeah, we're not going to bother with those. Oh, we got some political power as well. I just want to swap up to extensive conscription, I think, because we are using up our manpower quickly now. And it takes some time to actually get this in. And that's more important than these things down here. Alright, so we finished construction 3. How many days have it gone? 6 since we started this episode, I think. So I think both of these are going to be important. So that's 45 days. We want the machine tools first. And then we'll swap the concentrated industry over to advanced equipment conversion. And once that finishes, we can start doing finishing off those. So Shaanxi has capitulated. Uncertain times. And of course it would be really nice to have army experience to start popping in the land doctrines. How was our Panzer division doing? We're up to 19 combat width. I really want to add the second medium tank there. Oh, and King Zog submits to Italy. An ultimatum has been delivered to the Albanian government by Italian diplomats, demanding that they submit to complete military occupation. King Zog has abdicated after realizing the futility of resistance, and Albania will now be ruled in a personal union under King Vittorio Emanuele III. Italy looks to the Balkans. Another victim of Italy's ambitions. Okay. So yeah, we want to get this one up to 21. That's going to cost us a lot more tanks though. So we have 36 available tanks. That's going to cost us 450. I think we can actually add these in already. 21 is just going to be a lot better for our first wars. We're going to be mostly light tanks, and then we'll swap out the light tanks here towards medium tanks and use these light tanks to build new divisions as we reach a surplus of medium tanks. This of course increases quite a lot of stats here, so 40 armor, that's a decent amount. We can't pierce our own divisions, and hopefully the Poles can't either. We do have the armored recon in there, that's good. Support artillery, support anti-air. And that's just 2.5 points of piercing for adding the support anti-tank. That's not worth it. We probably want to swap these out a little bit later on too. And this isn't really how a German Panzer division was. Actually, it was pretty close to this as of this point in time. Not really, but let's add that medium tank in. Okay, so that's going to be fine. These have probably got. They're going to need a lot more tanks now, but they're on high priority, so they'll get their tanks first. What are we doing for our armor division? So we're capped out on command power and need to look into that too. I don't think we've got anything we want to add to any one of these though. No, maybe for some of our admirals. Well, Von Lieb might want to have something. recovery rate could be a good one. He's a mostly defensive general. We have the power, so why not use it? Okay, so then we've got Rundstedt down here. And he's in charge of... Where's the field marshal here? Let's move it over so we can see this here too. Urban assault specialist, that's nice. Only trickles down just a little bit though. And he's also defensive one. Mostly, of course, there. Yeah, I think he's a defensive one from the start. That's going to be good for anyone who's actually got engineers. Should be able to see there. 13 max, it's not a lot. And there's 3 from Rundstedt. I think we'll take the charismatic here too. We could actually have organization first as well. Yeah, that's worth it. We just have. So because these are going to be reinforcing combat quite a lot. That's like extra radios for them. Alright, then we got von Bock. Okay, he can only select, he doesn't have any traits he can select, no. Because he's got the offensive doctrine. I don't think we've got anyone with inflexible strategist at all. Oh yes, we do. That's Wilhelm List, that's why we got him here. Oh, there we can see. That's the place that actually matters, so that's good. Okay, so we got von Bock here. It can be army roll something. What do we have? So I think we've got Chief of Army. We already got Franz Halde there. That's a army offense one. Don't know if Halde is... No, we don't have him as a general, I don't think. Unfortunately, that would make sense if he was. That also means that it's no point in selecting out of these chief of armies. We might have some use for him here, but we've got infantry specialists and armor specialists already available. So we'll go with those instead. Fortress Buster, no. Scavenger, no. I'm not very keen of either of those. I'd rather just let this trickle down into infantry leader and terrain traits. Alright, so we're done with that. Let's just check the navy a little bit quickly, because we haven't done very much here at all, have we? And I think, do we want to go with Lutjens or Bowen for the main fleet? Now both Saalwachter and Marshal are the good ones. They've got bold, but they've also got old guard, which is kind of a crap one to have. Don't know how much difference it actually makes though in... I've got Raider as well, of course. That naval EAI attack, I don't really like it at all. Marshal here doesn't have anything selected, so maybe we could pick him up anyway. Yeah, let's have a Marshal in charge of the main fleet. And we've got the... It's a mining flotilla. Let's move them out to a different one. We don't want to have a skull there. We want to have put a mine in instead. We know what they're doing. And that's just the training fleet. Then we've got the Baltic fleet, see? Or Baltic fleet. And here in the Baltic, I think we can safely put on Erich Reder. Capital ship attack. Don't think that makes any difference, but he's got 2 pre-dreadnought hulls here. And this heavy attack will provide a little bit of fire support. And we just put some destroyers in it. These destroyers, as soon as we've taken Danzig, would probably go into the mining fleet here. Everyone, I've got the Deutschland here. And we got the Graf Zeppelin. I was thinking maybe we want to train them up actually. Yeah, let's tell the Graf Zeppelin to go off and train for a little bit. And I think we've got plenty of them here. They can put the Hippet and the Blucher. Let's just grab a few of these. We probably need to leave one though. The rest can be popped into the High Sea Fleet. Here, of course, we're going to have a Dönitz. We're going to split this up into 2 different ones. That's only the Type 2s. Now we're going to split this up into 3 different ones, I think. No, these can be under... Yes, that's fine. These can be under radar, that's fine. They're going to be around here anyway. But we want to split off our Type 9s. Don't think we've got very many of them just yet. Okay, that split them all off. That was not intended. Yeah, we need to push this one. There's so many plus buttons everywhere. And this fleet here is going to be under Dönitz. And now we've got these 3. We can split them off. The mines... Doesn't really matter who's got them. I don't really want Lutyens on them. Craven High is good too. Yeah, let's put saltwater on them. And we can have Lutyens here, I think. Some extra org, some extra positioning. No, Craven is better. There we go. And can we rearrange these now? No, we're still not allowed to rearrange anything. Alright, so let's grab these. I just want the Baltic Fleet at the bottom. We'll probably... let's just split it off here. That's the Baltic Fleet, and this is going to be the... High Seas Fleet. Just to keep something there. Let's move these down to the Baltic Fleet as well. That's a lot of organizing this episode, and I'm terribly sorry for that, but it's got to be done. So these are our... They can be light blue. I think that's going to be easier to find them. We might want to... We're going to split them up into smaller ones later on. And this, of course, also is the submarine fleet. So these are the long-range submarines, these are the middle-range submarines, and these are the short-range submarines. Did we have... I think we've got another commander, yeah. It should be fine, and this is what we were after then. We just want to see what we've got here. So this is Dönitz. Dönitz, of course, wants to have the... I think Silent Hunter is always the better pick here. The Lancer is just... It's like a 1% extra chance of them actually penetrating, since it's 25% on 4% or something like that. Let's grab the Silent Hunter. And a Loading Drill Master, that's a 33% increase because torpedoes have a 4-hour cooldown. It brings it down to 3 hours, so that's a 33% increase in damage. And he of course can have a Torpedo Expert as well. Torpedo hit chance plus 10%. And now we've got a good commander then, but yeah, no, that's fine. That's Bowen we were looking at. Bowen can have the Lone Wolf and Concealment Expert. He probably wants to have Concealment Expert. Minus 20% visibility, and he's running the cruiser submarines that have a little bit higher visibility, so that brings them down really low. Retreat decision chance, we don't need that, he's already got that from being Craven. It also reduces his damage a bit, but what can we do? Marshall will just have to level up before we can give him traits. Lutyens actually has the... yeah, he's got the submarine ones here as well. So, Concealment Expert. And enemy retreat chance plus 20%. From being gentlemanly. I think this is fine as it is, we don't need the smoke screen. We'll wait for Seawolf and these things down there, or... well, he might actually get some kind of mine laying one. But I don't think so. No, he's got just got these battleships there, and those are going to be restricted to being import in the future. That's where they belong. Objects of the First World War. Alright. What I did want to check was what our composition here is. So we got 2 Panzer divisions and a motorized division in both of those. We're waiting for... Yeah, these aren't doing very well, are they? We need really 3 more Panzer divisions. And moving one of these over there, I think. And this cavalry division, I'm not really sure what we're going to do with it. Let's just... No. No. Oh, what are you doing? There you want to be. Let's move you over again. Oh, let's do it this way instead. Yeah, just... No. You're supposed to be there. There we go. Now we've got the cavalry division as a separate entity. Let's just convert you into an infantry division instead. And obviously we want to erase the custom name. Let's give them an ordinary infantry division name. That's going to make their... Let's move up here. It's going to make them really poorly trained, so they can retrain and they can join the Western Front here instead. Alright, these are going to sort themselves out, but we need to have 3 more armor divisions, not just the 2 we are building. So let's tag on another one there. And that'll bring us up to 2 armor and 1 motorized in each of these. And then we probably want to tag on another motorized division for each of them. Something like that. These won't be done for the Poland campaign, I think, but they should be done for France at least. Alright, so we finished concentrated industry, and we're obviously going to go for advanced equipment conversion. We're going to be needing this one. And we also ran out of things to construct. I think we are doing fine for... How are we doing for fuel? So the maximum consumption of the army, air and navy together is huge. And something like 20,000. Just under. And we can produce our maximum daily consumption, just under 20,000. And our maximum gain is... we need to start building some radars. We don't have enough fuel, but that's fine. Okay, so I think we want to put a radar up here. We're going to want one somewhere over... I might actually want to build it here in Königsberg. That'll help us in the future as well. We don't get very good range on these just yet. We probably want to have somewhere close by here as well. That would be a good place to have them, I think. It's kind of protected behind Switzerland, and it gives a good range in. We're probably going to need to build some new air bases too. Let's just build a few here. I'm going to need them for defending our territory. Let's build an airbase in most of these spaces that we don't have one in. And then we can see where we've got them. So we want to have one up here too. It's kind of a dispersal tactic, having loads of them. Anti-air would probably be nice to have as well, at least in some of our more industrialized places. Let's tag on some more synthetic refineries here in Hessen. That's a good place to build them. And we obviously need more military factories. Can help Slovakia build one? No, I'd rather not. We do need more dockyards as well, though. Let's build 3 more dockyards there. And so we are kind of maxing out our slots here now. I think that's fine. Actually, if we go a day, we should get more slots, right? Yeah. Since we just finished the the production technology concentrated industry. So we've got our synthetic refineries there. It's safe to build more. I want to build them there. Got one synth refinery there. And we've allocated those slots. I think maybe if we check there, we want to build one more there. And we are going to need all that oil and fuel and whatnot there. Okay. 2 more dockyards there. Let's upgrade that one. Okay, at least we've got some construction going now. I think we do want to have some anti-air at least here on the western side of our nation. Let's try to get a level 1 up here. This is the area that's going to be most likely to be bombed with the new aircraft ranges. If our aircraft has a maximum range of, that's the wrong ones as well. So this is our strategic bombers. They can, so if they were based around here, they would be reaching into northern Germany and western Germany just about. And I'll base them out from here. They can reach into eastern Germany as well, but that's going to be ours in a little bit too. So, and actually, I think it's about time we call this an episode. So, I'm sorry there was a lot of designing and fumbling around this episode, but tune in this Friday and we'll have the next episode up and running. So, thank you very much for watching. Take care and see you then.